Okay, are you ready? The next startup, ready?
Does the microphone work?
Yes, say again, speak again.
Does the microphone work? Yes,
it works
I think
really
so.
well. Okay,
Good.
so I'm going to count to 3. 3, 2, 1, go.
Good afternoon, my name is Stan de Ridder. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Wellsun. This is the best solar panel in the world. It has an efficiency of 30%, 30. 300 watt peak per square meter. It has been developed for low-cost, high-efficient electricity generation in a desert. What was very interesting about this product, it is transparent. And therefore, we use it to integrate in buildings. We have developed the Lumiduct. The Lumiduct makes it possible to create complete glass facades, which generate more energy than if you would cover the complete facade with normal solar panels. At the same time, it creates an ideal indoor building environment. And it does that because it tracks the sun. And as it tracks the sun, it shields the direct light, which is responsible for the glare and for the heating up of your building. And it takes that out. And it's transparent for the diffuse light. And therefore, you create this ideal indoor building climate. The Lumiduct solves the issues that are related to glass buildings. Glass buildings become more and more popular. But they have their issues. They have an issue with the indoor building climate, and they have an issue with the energy performance. The Lumiduct tackles that. As I said, the Lumiduct offers a selective, transparent sun shading. It's selective because it only shields the direct light from the sun, not the diffuse light. And it's selective, or it's transparent, because it's transparent for the diffuse light which can enter your building. You have 2 to 3 times as much daylight inside your building than with ordinary sun shading. With the Lumiduct, the complete facade becomes available for energy production. Not only a part of it, but the complete facade. And if you combine it with a 30% high efficiency, you can imagine that you turn your building into a power plant. With the excess of electricity that you produce, you can then charge the car in front of your building. It's not a promise. This week, we're delivering our first project in Alblasserdam in the Netherlands. Next week, we're going to have a big celebration. We're inviting everybody to join us for a very nice drink. So it's not a promise anymore. We have a pipeline full of projects. But we have another feature. We integrated LED in our solar panel. With this, we can create full videos on the total facade and create a Ziggo Dome effect. If you know what a Ziggo Dome is, it's a big theater in Holland, and it's a beautiful theater with all kinds of images. So with that, you can create an energy-producing media wall. So when you think about the Lumiduct, remind us, it's a record energy production, it's an ideal indoor building climate, and it's an energy-producing media wall. Thank you very much.
Woo. So we have a great breadth of solutions here, from real hardware to architects' brains. You know, I think it's great to see so many great startups. Thank you very much. Very good pitch. I really liked it, and it's interesting when you have to think about what you do with the extra energy in your building, right? If that becomes a problem, that's an interesting one. First question from my side. So is it only for new buildings, or can you also do it on existing buildings?
Yes, the first few products are all retrofitting. So we create a new facade for the building.
Okay. And how much does it cost, like the big facade or a module? Or how
That's
does
a question that
work?
everybody asks me, but everybody has a reference, and if I tell the price, they always take that as a reference.
Is it more expensive than the Tesla tiles for the private home users?
It's different. It's different.
Okay.
And the thing is, you should not compare it to a PV, you should not compare it to a solar shading. It's a complete solution for a building. And we enable things which are not possible. With our system, it becomes possible to generate maybe 3 to 4 to 5 times as much electricity as if you would only use solar panels on your rooftop. Okay. So it creates possibilities to make energy positive buildings suddenly possible.
Okay, let's take a question from the jury.
Hi, very interesting. What makes your panel so much more efficient than other panels on the market? So I don't know what other panels on the market have.
Well, what we do, we use triple junction cells. And triple junction cells are being used in aerospace. They're extremely expensive, but they also have an efficiency of about 45%. But because they're so expensive, nobody uses them on Earth. What we do, we focus the light by a factor of 700. So for 1 square meter of solar irradiance, we only need this amount of PV material, and therefore it becomes cost effective. And our partner...
You have a lens inside.
Yes. These are all lenses. If you look at it, I've showed it to someone. Okay, there. It's not actually lenses, it's like mirrors. They mirror it to the center of the cell. And that's the unique technology that we use and nobody else has.
What kind of material was the question?
It's glass and PMMA, so it's very good recyclable. If you look at other solar panels, they all have the big problem when they will be taken back and thrown away, because they have films, they have Teflon, etc. We don't have that. The only material that we have is glass, PMMA, and edible silicate.
Okay, let's take another question here from the audience. So, I mean, you explained a little bit about the pricing, and that's difficult, but the audience doesn't want to let you go. They're not happy. So, how much better are you than the best module on the market? Because you said 30%, and I think that's much better than other ones.
Yes,
the best ones, right?
Other modules.
How much better?
Other modules which are commercially available go up to maybe 20%. And of course, in the lab, there are higher efficient PV, but that's the reason why they're still in the lab. They're very expensive. Mm-hmm.
Any more questions from the jury?
What's the maximum size of your tablet you can produce?
Well, the size is limited. There is no limit to the size. Only that we have those lenses. These are making up the size, so we can make them as wide as you want and as high as you want. Right now, we're standardized on the size of 50 centimeters by 35 centimeters, which we can show you over here. But in principle, there's no limit to it. So when there's a big project, we can modify it to any need.
Self-carrying without a frame then. So
it is self-carrying without frame. And we can show you here. We have one very small bracket which supports the whole module.
But I can't let you go without having at least an identification cost of square meter.
Okay,
is it 100 or 1,000 or 10,000?
I can tell you this.
You shouldn't let him
I
go.
can tell you this. It's very simple. We have several versions. And if you just take the cheapest version and you compare it to a facade, a double facade with automatic sun shading in between, which is commercial, if you take that out and use our system, you have a payback time of 10 years. Thank you.
Okay, that's an answer. Actually, I wanted to expand on that, or somebody from the audience. Let's take the bottom question. So how long is the lifespan? Because that's always an issue, right? And how does the performance remain over time?
What's the good thing about this triple junction cells? Oh, is it still? Okay.
Yeah, you're fine.
The triple junction cells have a much better performance than normal PV over time. Also, if you look at the heat, if you use this, for example, in Saudi Arabia, other PV panels, they go down for every 1 degree of temperature, the efficiency goes down 0.2 or 0.3%. Our system, the triple junction cell, has a factor of 5 less. So it's a much better performance over time, much better performance in temperature.
So just one more question. I just thought about the cleaning. So how to clean?
Well, the good thing about it, it doesn't get dirty. And the way we do that is we put a glass facade in front and a glass facade in the back, and it's in between this facade, like a double facade that you have many times also with other shading. So you don't have wind load, you don't have moist, you don't have dirt, and if you just and it's very reachable. So what you can do is just close it once a year, and then you can clean it, and that's fine.
So I just cast my vote. Please also cast your vote on the smartphone to give feedback to the startup. I think we won't have time for another question. One more thing, if there's something you wanted from the audience, something like, what are you looking for? Funding, projects, partners? So what can you? What would you like to get from the audience?
2 things right now. There's projects.
Projects.
That's the best money, and funding.
And funding. Are you doing a round of funding?
Yes.
How big is it?
It's very small, 1.2 million.
Okay, very small. Okay. So if you're interested in doing projects or funding, here's the one. A big round of applause. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.